we have the psychologist, I would say, Associate Professor Dr. Suriyadeo Tripathi. He is the Director of Moral Center of Thailand. He is in the line with us right now. We'll talk about children and trauma and how can we help. Good evening, doctor.
Good evening, Kun Donyada, Kun Nat, and also Kun Kiratikon, Kun Tulip, and everyone.
So we have heard the news about this abuse that's going on in school with the small children. Of course, I believe there'll also be with the bigger children as well, but it's a big concern, and we believe that probably will have some effect when they grow up, right?
Yeah, for the short period, it is yes. But I hope that if after we stop all those kind of traumatize with love and attachment, and also in the safety place in family, this can be healed. I mean, all the mental health can be healed. But they can remember. I mean, if the kids they grow up more grower, they can also recall that something happened. But I mean that it will not ongoing process. We are trying to stop this kind of assault.
So you said it can be healed, but we need the professional help, right?
Right. But it needed for psychologists and also all the team, such as we are working as a team. It is a holistic team. It's containing about many persons, such as social worker, working with also psychologists, and sometimes maybe also needed for the psychiatrist working on it. And they can also, and the main point is also the family. They are all now in the family because we have to stop this kind of traumatize for the children.
So why are we seeing more and more teachers using violence against children?
It's unluckily, I'm not sure about the system of this school, especially for this school. I'm not mentioning about the whole. I mean, this is maybe work for the Minister of Education. They have to look around. He has to look around. He has to set up a very qualified surveillance survey the whole nation. But I mentioned only this school. In this school, in my opinion, I propose that the school should have stopped for kindergarten right now for a period, short period of time. Why I propose of this? Because this system is a little bit failure and the mind system is also maybe fault. Because if you look at the teacher, they have no experience to classroom management. If we call about the early childhood, usually they have to use the positive discipline, not in the negative punishment, right? And they have to emotional control day by day. That is also head staff, head master in the kindergarten. They have to control, and they have to set up some kind of surveillance in each day by day to prevention this kind of assault. But what you and all of us learn about this clip, such as if you look at from the video clip, CCTV, you learn that a lot of happening is not only in the same teacher, it's also different teacher and different class in different room. That means kindergarten of this school is also should to be improved. It must be. It's not only should to be.
I feel like it's not like a culture there or something.
It's not the culture. It's mean the mindset. I think the first thing of the teacher is they have to mindset. The wrong mindset. It's not the right mindset. They have to learn about in Thailand, we have also early childhood legislation. The first legislation for early childhood. If all of us look around and learning from the early childhood, we mention about the loving, care, education, development, and also child protection. So this is the main point. They have to set up the new mindset for the whole teacher. What is the new mindset? The first one, they use the positive discipline to classroom management, not the negative and punishment. And the second mindset they have to new mindset to set up. They should use the learning through play, not like a high stake test,
Right.
highly competition. It's not fit for the early childhood, such as only 3 or 4 or 5 years old. They are not old enough to these high stake tests. They have to use learning through play. And the third new mindset to set up in this school is also how they can set up the what kind of school system, such as all those kind of care, education, development, and also surveillance system in the whole school.
So I have a question for you as a parent. I mean, I'm also a parent. What will be an obvious indicator that a child is actually going through some kind of difficulties or something wrong at school?
For the first thing, the parent should do is use the loving care, tender loving care, to care about those healing mind wound. I mean, the first thing the parents should do, like in protection, safety place, protection place, and the other point, they have to look around if not, not reliability for this school. I mean, connect to the Ministry of Education and Office of Basic Education. They have their role. They have to find out the school nearby, or maybe that is also very qualified about the safety place and learning through play systematic to development. And the third thing, also for the parents, they can also what kind of gathering, such as any kind of thing. They can also use the law to protection this kind of thing.
But I'm talking about small children that some of them cannot communicate. If they're going through something, some kind of traumatic event, how can parents tell?
You cannot directly ask the question to the little kids.
Yeah.
They cannot understand, and might be also be repeated about the traumatized, right? So usually what we introduce about use the art, music, and playing role, and storytelling, and let me example, such as if you use the art, such as draw about the picture of your school in your mind, or maybe the safe place in your mind, who is important person. Maybe some of the kids, they may draw the, very bad, very bigger of the teacher. You can also ask why this teacher is very big one. Something about indirect question, not the direct question to the kids, because maybe parents also be traumatized. The other point, should stop the video clip on social media.
Right.
It is a lot of in social media. It is also be traumatized again and again. So my opinion, every social media, including the main media, should have to stop about the show video clip protection, child protection, according to the child protection right.
And based on your observation, when children became victims of violence in classrooms, what are the most common mental health issues that you've seen in these children?
It's according to the what kind of trauma they get. What kind of the trauma. If you see in this kind of event, usually it's physical abuse, like a punishment. So the first thing is damage on the body, such as how hard, how degree or the level of traumatization happening. And the other point is also the mental health, such as if the teacher use those kind of violence, some of them may be serious stress, crying, behavior change, not become like an easy child, become a difficult child. So all the parents, they can also observation their kids. Their kids is also change the behavior. They cannot sleep. They might have a nightmare. If this kind of behavior be changed, that means something happened. And you can also use indirect question according to the storytelling, or might be music and art, to ask from the children what happened in the room.
You just mentioned physical abuse. So how can we be sure that what they've experienced is only physical abuse and not emotional abuse? Because emotional abuse, it will stay with them like forever compared to physical abuse.
I think it's definitely related.
Yeah.
I mean, physical abuse is you can see from the physical examination of the medical doctor. And the other point, you can also have evidence from the CCTV. Other else also you can, if you ask from the kids by the indirect question, maybe you have also know a little bit about. From the emotional abuse is also be a little bit deep and also be a little bit hard. It be a psychological case for each kind of according to the development of children. I mean the mental health part, they can also use the psychological test for each children to evaluate about how emotional abuse is also be, how hard it is, how difficult it is, how deep it is.
We were talking about seeking professional help. And in Thailand, we cannot deny that it's such a taboo for getting talked to the psychologist or getting treatment, that kind of thing. How can we make this more, make it become more normal? How can we normalize seeing psychologists for children?
The first point is a little bit difficult because psychologists, we have a limited person. I mean, it is not so much for the whole country. But luckily, we also have a system. I mean, the system is also not only be a psychologist. We call like a one-stop crisis center. It's integration between Ministry of Human Security and Social Development, working with the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Education, and Ministry of Health, such as Mental Health Department of Ministry of Public Health. This kind of one-stop crisis center, you can also calling for help in any hospital, the whole nation. They combination between social worker, nurse practitioner, and also psychologists, because some of the area we know that very limited about the psychologists. You cannot easily do appointment for the psychologist, but you can also use the social worker and also nursing and from the Ministry of Health, Human Security and Social Development to calling for help.
I have one question that I'm quite curious about. There's a Thai belief that says รักวัวให้ผูกรักลูกให้ตี love your cow, tie them up, love your children, just hit them. How has this belief encouraged adults into using violence against children, or how does it reflect the authoritative nature in Thai society?
Yeah, Nat is asked very. It is also a very good question and also very tough question. Is not only for the Ministry of Education, it's also including me. I mean this is the old mindset.
Right.
It's all I know about, and we have to change this kind of mindset. And we try to. If you're looking at the NGO, one of the NGO also working in Thailand is the Save the Children, and also working with the many NGO here, working with the psychologists, psychiatrists, Association of Thailand. We try to campaign about the positive discipline. But the main thing I know, because this kind of old mindset, they have easier to control. I mean, like a robot, you can also control the whole classroom with punishment, one punishment, right? Scolding them, punishment. But is really challenging for us and for also the ministry to how we let them know how. It is the skill base. Not only the mindset, they know, they have no skill base to practice. And I know that is a lot of teachers in the whole nation. If you look at the 400,000 people, you cannot easily change them with one day or 1 week. Is maybe nearly it is year by year. But we try to do, and we also campaigning about that. If you heard about the brain executive function, if you heard about the positive discipline, it's also be luckily for this government they announce about this kind of brain executive function, and plus with the positive discipline to let the skill base for all the teacher, the whole nation too. We are going to do this hard work too.
So you were talking about how we lack professional personality that's able to help children in the treating them on their mental health. And UNICEF published a report that Thailand is still lacking professionals that would help protect children at a community level. I guess it's related to the same problem. So you were saying that you, with other organizations, have been campaigning about this issue. What else we can do?
It's not only campaigning. I mean, that is also like a workshop to let them have know-how, the skill base. It's not only the use the mass media or media to let them concern about.
Right.
I mean, they have to have workshop, individual development plan. So this thing is also even private sector and public sector school, they have to know about this kind of know-how. One thing is for this kind of school is weakest point. I mean, the weakest point of this school is also, I'm not sure about the professional learning community they use or not.
Right.
And what is the vision of the headmaster of this school.
Right.
And what they, he enrolled going through looking around, not preventing from this kind of negative discipline. I mean, this is also the vision of the headmaster. And actually, in the educational system of Thailand, we also have a school administrative board. Actually, we have school administrative board. What I mentioned is I'm not sure about this school, private sector. If they set up and this kind of board is not efficiently movement, Ministry of Education should look around and maybe also stop this kind of working and let them improving before open again.
So it sounds like we have tools, we have system, we have protocol, what to do, it just haven't been enforced. So I guess we have to go back to the education ministry to make something happen.
Yeah, it's approving about the system to system. It's not only in the head of the nation, I mean also in the local area.
Right.
Because that is also Office of Basic Education containing in the local, each of provinces, each of sub-district area, they have. I mean, this kind of thing should to be approved and also look around and quality assessment. Actually, they have also national standard for kindergarten and early childhood. We have a system. I think the main thing is law enforcement and also enforcement and approving all the system they have.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Suriyadeo. We are very happy to have you with us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And everyone, we will go try hard for this kind of work. And this is also maybe the focal point to challenging something else for the Ministry of Education.
Yes, hopefully something will change. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So like Dr. Suriyadeo Tripathi said that we need to change the mindset of all groups in the society. We need more professional help, and we need to do something about the taboo that, we shouldn't get psychologists to help children.
Right, the mindset is actually the first thing that really needs to change here, because if we don't have the right mindset, we cannot make suitable changes and solve the issues that are going on.
In every level. In every level. And that's all